Hey everyone, it's Kai with another week of top decks. Now, unfortunately, Kelvin cannot be with us this week because of the lockdown, so he can't go to his place to do it, so I have to do it from my place, but don't worry. We have the Kelvin bot set up here. You can see his head above me, right? And he can still comment on your decks. And it's gonna be just the same that it was. Now, this week has been a really big week. I'm actually doing this a bit later because I was a bit busy. But yeah, it's been a big week, especially because set 2 just got released in Japan. So we got a bunch of new decks and new ideas to explore. And for the coming few weeks, I've separated standard or overdress format or D format into Japan and just English, because it's going to be very different, right? It's going to be very different. Some of us will be playing, just with new cards, and if you want to find other cards, then look in the English one, right? So I've separated them, and we'll start with the Japanese ones first. Also, again, depending on which format you play, your VG top decks will be featured as always in the last part of the section. So if you topped with like a Japanese Nirvana, but you're in like Singapore, for example, you'll be at the end of the Nirvana section. So if you're looking for your deck, just go check there. So, all right, let's begin, right? Let's begin. So we're starting off with Nirvana as usual, and we can see that new cards are really nice, and it looks like this current build. Well, I think the funny thing about Nirvana is we think it's really strong. There's like a lot of things going on for it, so it's definitely like really cool, right? But the thing is, like, I feel like Japan still hasn't really found the perfect list for it. There's a lot of different ways to build Nirvana at the moment, and just finding the correct one is probably going to take some time. Right now we have this build focused more on the Damari with the Aruna to like kind of boost the gray zeros, and that will basically enable your zeros to, like, your tricksters to at least hit something and be able to multi-attack with tricksters without super relying on persona ride turns. Is what I'm guessing. Otherwise, you can be aggressive with the trickster early as well, because your ride line actually calls a trickster, so you can just put it down and go bam and go face. And you can see that this player has decided to go more into the trickster starter again to confirm that trickster, right? To confirm that trickster into your game plan. So the Dragon Egg has been changed out, but a lot of the rest of the deck is just kind of what we would expect. You have to max out the arcs. You still got the Ergers. The Togachirashi is still very good. This guy opted for this card to be generating the soul, and then the rest of the deck, yeah, is just pretty much what we think, right? What we thought would be good. So that's pretty cool. I think there is a second place list here. We've got Prison showing up quite well, and because of Bermuda just absolutely wrecking face, making this entire deck work, it's just actually really good. And he's still running Lemones, which is kind of nice. There's not really much to use because I like the Melty Kiss order, which allows you to do minus power on your opponent's cards for the entire turn, and that requires a certain amount of cards in the order in the prison. But this one, you're just going to shove a lot of stuff into the prison and not be able to use it much, right? Basically, you hit 3 and you're done. He's running the 24-hour order that just basically grabs a card from their hand and puts it in prison. And I think that's what a lot of the Japanese lists we've seen so far are taking their prison list to be more aggressive. Have this core of just good, solid defensive cards, and then, well, in my case, I was running the Melty Kiss order for defensive power, but a lot of players have opted to just take multiples of this order to be able to just lower their hand count while pushing damage. So that's basically the account of prison. But let's go back to Nirvana, right? Let's go back to some Nirvana. And this one, we have another Virina deck here. This guy's got a pretty weird list. And he's got 4 Virina still. I think a lot of players have opted to lower this count. But the tension stands are pretty good, right? Tension stand is actually not bad. Because of Erger, we have the ability to countercharge, but I can't really see any Ergers. Right? This feels like an older list, but I can't really see any Ergers. The angling is a bit bad, but he's got Tribash, and that's kind of interesting. And I just don't know what this card is. It looks like a grade 1. It might be just Arena, so yeah. It looks like an old list. I don't really think this is that impressive. I think we'll just skip this one. We'll skip this one. Next we have is another list that's running Tribash. What's a Tribash? Everyone just loves their Tribash. This person ran nothing new. This person ran absolutely nothing new. He's only running 3. Well, actually no, he's got the Damari. So he's opting for multi-attack Damari, and he's got Myrons, and he's got Velocihazard, and 1 OG front. I don't know. I have heard of ideas where you just you go all in on the multi attacks with Damari and the Trickstar, but this just feels like a weird list, you know. This feels like a weird list. Let's skip it. Let's kind of yeah. Let's go to the next one. All right, so we have another list here. This one looks newer and kind of more complete in my opinion. We've got the full lineup here of Arcs and Erger, and we've got Virina. And then, yeah, you got the Tenchestead, which, again, like I said before, it works pretty well nowadays because you can confirm your Persona Ride when it hits, and then the Persona Ride will make your Tricksters hit without feeling too bad. Now, the interesting part is it looks like he's only running 3 Tricksters, so 2 here, and he's running 1 Trickster as the starter. And then he's got running 2 Arunas to kind of hit that power line. And then, yeah, that's strange. He's still got the 3 Valientes. And he's running no draws, right? I think one of the biggest misses now is your only draw power is Arcs again. So before you had draw triggers that can help you kind of also dig when they pop off, but now you don't. So you're wholly reliant on drawing the Arcs to kind of go through. And in that case, I think, yeah, maybe, you know, Tenchesteads and the Trickster starter kind of mitigates that idea. And then for Soul Generation, we do have the Togachi Rashi, as well as, yeah, just Aruna to push early, I guess, to kind of be more aggressive. So pretty cool. What does Kelvin think of this list? What do you say?
Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good, I guess. Next one we have is another list here. This one's running the Dragon Empire Dragon Egg starter. It's got 4 Tricksters, only 2 Togachi Rashi, which I think is okay. I think initially I was playing 4, and then I went, okay, I think 3 is enough, but I think you can even go down to 2. Just, it comes down to how many Urges are you going to use in one turn, and if you're ever going to use a Virina. If you're ever going to use a Virina. A lot of times you just don't have to use the Virina. The Virina's already hitting decent power by itself, so, you know, the Soul Blast 2 is technically not required. But he's running actually a full complement of Virina. He's running a full complement of Arcs and Erger, and I think looks like only two Valientes. And looks like no boosters, like no specific boosters for Trickster. So Trickster is wholly reliant on the Persona Ride turns to be able to hit Vanguards and put on that kind of pressure. Which is actually no, that's Arena, right? So actually he's got three boosters or 3 boosters there. Or that can. It's actually like a nice, like Reno's like a nice aggro card where you can push early with it because it hits 10. And then you can move it back. So he's at least got an AK booster for his Trickster. So that works pretty well. So I think this is a pretty good list. I like this list. This is going in the right direction, in my opinion. So it's another nice looking list here. We've got a bit of everything. And we've got, you know, the 2 Tenchestead. Alright, that's nice. Aruna for the boost. And then Togachi Rashi for the soul. And then the rest of the deck is just pretty straightforward. He's absolutely cut his Valientes, which I think is fine. Right, Valiente is an exceedingly low value card in my opinion. What is he gonna do? Half the time you're gonna just play him out and not do anything, like not even overdress of it, because it's just such an easy target to get rid of. And Urges kind of just get fat by itself for like very little requirements, right? It's like you just have to go over Trickster, bam, I'm 20k. While Valiente, you have to go, if you call over Trickster, sure he's 18k, he's kind of annoying to hit, but you know, he doesn't really do anything else, right? Doesn't really do anything else. Like Erger counter charges, does an extra attack during battle phase, bam, everything you'd want. But Valiente just doesn't do it. So cut the Valiente. You have more slots to do things. You can put the Runas for the boost. You have the Soul. You know, even grade 2 Virina is just does more work than Valiente in my opinion. So I think a nice complete package here. You know, nice complete package. And then now we're moving on to Singapore. So this is Rose Velvet posting for a friend for the AGC remote fight, and yeah, came second with this list. And I think this is pretty interesting. Cut the Virinas to 2, put in an extra shield value there. Myron's here is for the soul, and then again we've talked about the Tenchestead, and he's opted not to run the new fronts, which give 20 shield. That he's just running the draws. So some changes, but overall the core engine is quite similar. He still has the Valientes here, so that's pretty interesting. So good job coming second. And then for our last VG top decks, we've got Marcel again, and he came. He borrowed this deck at 10 in the morning, and it was pretty fun to play. So he came fourth for this deck, and this deck looks pretty bling bling. Look at this. It's you know, ooh, look at this. High rarity Trickstar, high rarity Nirvana. Even the Damari is SP. Alright, it was yeah, all of this is quite he's running four Tokashi Rashi. You can probably cut that. He's got, I think it looks like 5 draws. 5 draws. Only 4 crits. Interesting. And 2 of the fronts. So the trigger lineup is quite strange. The Aruna, you know, the Aruna's still around. No Valientes. Alright, no Valientes again. Cut the Valientes. So yeah, that looks pretty good. What does Kelvin think of the deck?
Deck's alright.
Oh, okay. It's only alright. I think it's okay. I'm not as harsh as Kelvin, so that's pretty good. I like the blingness. Good job, Marcel. All right, so moving on, we have a new Overlord deck. I mean, a new Dragon Empire deck, and that is Overlords. I totally messed that up, but fortunately, no Eugene decks this week. Everyone's on that Overlord train. So let's look at Overlord. Firstly, I've played a bit of Overlord. It is kind of boring, to be honest. It doesn't really do anything too amazing, which is sad, but it does the job, I guess. If you're a huge Overlord fan, I don't think you're disappointed. The deck, how do you say it? The deck kind of builds itself, right? You find a bunch of encounter cards and you stick them in the deck. That's all that is required. I mean, do you see any card here that is... You see any encounter card here that is not at 4? I think every encounter card is at 4. The interesting cards he's really put in is... we've got the Tension Stead. So one thing with Gojo is that it offers some decent countercharging for the deck. And it is an on-hit countercharge, but it's on-hit anything. And with Overlord skill, you can basically hit something pretty often. So overall, the Gojo will always kind of countercharge. You'll always kind of have an empty slot in the back row. Excuse me. And then you can kind of put down the Tension Steads when you don't have the Overlord in order to fish out that Overlord next turn. Because the other thing about Tension Stead is that it doesn't need to hit the Vanguard for its effect to proc. So hitting a Regard will also allow that to work. Overall, the entire deck is kind of Counterblast light, while the only card that will really require an extra Counterblast is the Berserk Dragon if you want to retire more. But that's usually, it's kind of, yeah, you don't have to always use the effect. Like, your front row is already hitting kind of 15 by itself, and then your Vanguard is hitting like 18, because you should be using the Harlem's effect, which is like Soul Blast 1 and giving a Harlem and your Overlord 5k. So that works rather nice. The rest of the other cards here, you got the Tokashi Rashi for the Soul. I'm guessing just for the Nahalem, but Overlord does require a discard, so that's where the discard outlet is. You're also running this he's running this grade 2 that is it's on attack. When it hits, can discard a card and draw a card. So it's just filtering your hand for better cards. But overall, since you get 3 drive checks, you kind of do have the capability to kind of deck out. So I'm not sure if this card is that required, right? Is that required? And then you have the nulls, right? Your flex slots are literally just these 5 cards here. So I think like overall, well, not really 5. I guess you have like 9 cards you can change up. Overall, you can kind of take out a Gojo as well. I think 3 Gojo could be enough, and then you can find add in an extra slot. But overall, you don't really have that many choices. So yeah, we'll see what the other Overlord players have done. And yeah, what does, I mean, Kelvin has played Overlord. So what does he think about it?
What is this list?
He's not really, doesn't look like he's that impressed. But let's continue. Let's keep on continuing. And look, this one's a very high rarity Overlord. Wow, this is very Very high rarity. Again, this person has opted to just play 4 encounters of everything. Man, I can't get over how bling this is. It's pretty insane. For the flex slots, he's decided to put in a 15k hitter. I really like the Reno as the as one of the slots, because Reno does, you know, you can push it up early to be aggressive with it, and then later on it becomes a booster. And since it can hit 10k by itself, it kind of feels in that grade 2 slot, because it's like grade 2s are 10k, and then it's 10k, right? So it fits dual purposes. If you don't have a booster, it can become a booster. If you don't have an attacker, it can become an attacker, at least in attacking into like maybe something, right? Or an early game attacker. So I really like that. He also runs 4 Togashirashi. I don't know, I think that's kind of excessive, but again, it comes down to there's not that much stuff that you can run, so you might as well. Yeah, interesting list, I guess. Next Overlord deck, we have another 15k here to here, with the Tenchisteds, and then the rest of the list is he's running less Gojos, so he's able to fit in Togashirashi here, and I think that's it. Right? So he's able to just fit in a few extra cards by running less Gojos. And then following this up, this Overlord list, what is he doing? He's got 4 Tenchisteds, he's got 4 15k hitters, and only 2 Gojos. So we're seeing some places where they cut 2 Gojos to be able to fit in more other cards, and it looks like they're just putting the Togashirashi. It's kind of strange. I don't know. It's just, I never really felt this deck was very soul heavy. So yeah, all right. Next we have a Coco Mat, nice. So this guy's went a bit more spicy. He's got, looks like a 4 of every single encounter card, but then he's gone the Tribash for the crit, and I think it's all right because you can. He's also running the grade 2 order that allows you to attack your opponent's back row rear guard. Okay, there's a few more control. I guess a few more control in this deck. You can kill off the back row rear guards and make up the loss and damage, I guess, with a crit from Tribash. Well, that generates soul, so that's solving your soul issue, which I didn't feel that you had much problems with, but I think every other deck here has shown that you do. So yeah, it solves that soul problem. And then, you know, the Tenchisted for the Persona ride. So I think this is pretty spicy. This one's the spicy one, right? This one's spicy. And then here, this is the last Overlord deck we have. Again, we have the 4 Tribash this time, so quite a lot. And, you know, the 2 Tenchisted. So overall, it's pretty interesting. What is that? Let me take a look at what that grade 2 card is. I think it's when it comes into play, you pick one of your opponent's rear and he has to move it to one of the front row regards, well, front row open circles, so they can't escape you. You move one of their back row stuff in the front and you can attack into it. So I think it's quite spicy. Otherwise, yeah, just run 4 of every single encounter card in your set. How to build Cargo. All right, so, well, not Cargo, Overlord. All right, moving on. We're on to Bruce, the biggest talked about deck in this entire set. Now, recently Bruce has gotten this new card called Leonard, and Leonard is a really nice card. It can attack entire columns on hit soul charge and then call things to empty circles. If you don't know, the combo is you combo this with Protobulb. So on attack, your Protobulb sucks something in to make the empty circle, and then you can call stuff to that circle. So you attack with that side first, attack with Leonard into like hopefully a column of 2 cards, and suck in that side, and then it's likely going to hit it, and then those cards come out and start standing, and then that can attack. So that's pretty cool. Now, Kelvin has something to say about Leonard, and that is...
Card's pretty busted.
That's right, card is pretty busted. And guess what? It doesn't require any CB, so that's insane. Now, this player obviously didn't think that Leonard was that busted because he's only running 3 of it. And he's decided to run 4 of the triple drive, the Mabel, and only 2 Protobulbs. So I'm thinking this person is not really valuing the multi-attack opportunity that comes with this card. But Japan has shown that they really like the Hellblast full dive, which is just, if you're in it's like a CB1, draw 1, and then call a card to the rearguard circle, and if you're a final rush, your front row gets 10k. So that can really kind of make your final rush really big. But, you know, Japan really likes it. They're running like 4 of this. But this person's only running 2. He's only running 2 of the 20k shield orders. Because, I mean, I don't fault any player wanting more defensive power, because he's running 2 of this, and he's got 20k shield fronts as well. So, you know, just play defensively. But I feel like his aggressive power here is not correct, right? He's gotten Richards, right? But I think you want Edens. Edens are just like better in every single way. All right, so it's all right. It's not bad, but it could definitely be better. Moving on, we have another Bruce deck here. This looks very Japanese already. We've got 3 of the Hellblast full dives. Eden's back, so he's doing something correct. 4 Leonard, I think, is there as well, which is pretty good. One thing about the Japanese list is that they totally cut off like a lot of their grade 2s. They cut the Edens as well, and they only have the Leonards. So this one's running both, and I like that. I like people who run both. He's running 3 Protobulbs, 2 of the new dog, and that's pretty much. But I think I see something which I totally disagree with, and that is the overtrigger. And what is Kelvin has something to say about wrong overtriggers?
Wrong overtrigger.
That's right, the wrong overtrigger. So apart from that, the rest of it is pretty solid. Well, at least for the Japan ideas. He's got the fronts, even draws. So it looks like they're not failing even crit much. Only 3 crit. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a bit weird. I really want to test like the 4 Helldive builds though, and see how it is. Let me know in the comments if you've tested that and you think it's amazing. Moving on, we have another 3 Helldive build here with 4 Marjorie, 4 Leonard, 3 Eden. Okay, I can appreciate that lineup. The correct overtrigger as well. Nice. 2 Mabels, and then 3 of the dog, and then 4 Protobulbs. So I think this guy has a pretty good idea on how the deck is supposed to function. And he's managed to fit in, like, you know, the early game defensive options, which is, well, a control option, I'd like to say, which is Eden. But then the ones, you know, he's got the key one Protobulb, and then the dogs to make the empty space. Yeah, I think this is pretty nice. Next we have is another one. This person's only running two of the full dives, which is interesting. His grade 2 lineup is okay. It's quite acceptable, I think. You can put on a decent early game at least of this, which I can agree with, and just put on pressure, right? Like early game pressure with Bruce, people say, again, there's a lot of how do you say it? It's vanilla, right? It's vanilla. But basically every single 2 here works when not in Final Rush. So you should be running it, right? Sorry, and I think I said Richard before. No, this should be Jared. But yeah. If you're playing Eden, you have an early game, right? If you have Jared, you kind of have an early game too. You have Power that can kind of push, and you know, the earlier the damage you get in, the quicker you kill your opponent later on. So totally agree with that. The only reason why like people run less Jareds is if they're really afraid of the CB cost, and I can say like, okay, maybe people are afraid of the CB cost for Eden as well, but you know, what's the point in saving all that CB if you don't live to that turn where you're gonna use your Hellblast and use your Mabels, use all that stuff. Just control the board and win the game, right? Just win the game like that. This person obviously doesn't really value like Leonard with Protobulb, but I think like if you're going like a Helldive build as well with like something like Mabel, like technically Mabel's like a CB1 get a card, right? If you're doing that, then your turn is going to be so massive that turn. You're like 5. You're likely going to get in like 3 to 4 damage with the Helldive on Final Rush. So yeah, I think it's all right. It's okay. Next we have is, now this one's interesting. He's still running Gungunram, And I think a lot of players have taken it now just because it's kind of low value. He's also running Colossus as well. I don't really think Colossus is the way, because it's just, how do you say it? It's old. It's old. You know, just run Marjories. He's only running 3 Marjories. The idea of Colossus is it gets more power. But yeah, it's just, I feel like nowadays where you've got like so many better options, don't bother with Colossus, you know. I think I'd rather run Helldive over Colossus, to be honest. He is running 2 20k shields, which is cool, and then 2 20k shield order, I mean, and then 4 of the front orders, which is cool, and then, you know, 4 Mabel, or 3 Mabels, sorry, and 3 dogs. So I don't know, is he, how many fronts is he running? Wait, yeah, 4 fronts, 7 fronts? Wow. Okay, I don't know. I think crits is still good. Next, we're looking at another guy running Colossus. I'm not a huge fan of that. Colossus, Gungaram. It's like he got all his. He couldn't afford that many of the new cards, right? There's no Leonard in this deck. Yeah, there's no Leonard in this deck. He did buy a DSR Bruce though, so. But there's 7 orders. I mean, sure, it's like, this is a 20k shield order. So, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of this deck. So yeah, we're gonna move on. All right. Next we have another Bruce. I think this is these extra 20k shield orders. What do you guys think of it? Right. I think we're seeing it a lot in Bruce. But overall, I think, you know, remember when they had 15k shield orders? No one played it in the previous meta, but it looks like when people see 20k shields, everyone's on it. And I think 20k shields are fine. I think there's a slight shift to like more defensive builds. I think this is very different from the kind of, since these are locals, of course, but these ideas are very different to the tournament ones we saw on Monday, which is kind of interesting. I mean, some of this is correct, but you know, the extra defensive options, definitely different. Definitely not the same. And look, like only 1 Eden and 4 Leonard. You know, I don't know. I really can't agree with cutting Eden like that. But yeah, okay, that's cool. We've got this one's from Singapore. This is a Caesar cards. This is first place is Chalice. I think I recognize that name. You know, Vanguard 0 and playing on the remote fight BSFO tournaments. So yeah, he's brought one of those Japanese build. This is the 4 Hell Dives, which is pretty nice. And yeah, 4 Hell Dives. He's still got the Eden, so plus there the correct over triggers. Man, he's like doing everything correct. 3 Protobulbs is okay, and you know, Acrobat presented to get the soul. I think I talked about the Acrobat presented before. Is since you have Leonard, you know, you've got you want to at least get high quality cards. So overcharging is still very important. So good job coming in first. No, this is for Chalice, and then this one is Sky playing Brandgate. So this is Prison. Now this one's interesting. He's running 2 of the prisons. I think a lot of people just run 1 now just to make more space for the deck. But again, we've got the 4 bug motors, and basically just run good stuff. Deck. I think that's the. Is that the? It's not a. Don't really know what that card is. But we've got that's definitely the turquoise. I think this is the defensive violet one that like is like a null for grade 2 or lower. This is the rouge. Is that grapple external? Is that the 15k hitter? It looks like he's got 4 arms there. Yeah. Where's the Center of Snow though? Are we missing something? There should be more. He's not running Persona Ride, maybe, or. Yeah, no, that's interesting. No Persona Ride. Am I blind or? Okay, that seems pretty easy. Yeah, I mean, pretty interesting. I mean, all right, cool. And then next we're looking at Mervyn. So it's Leonard is nuts. That's what the deck is called. and 2 Hellblasts, 4 Lanterns for Edens, right? 3 Protobulb, 2 Mabel. So it's just it's very similar to what we've seen before. And he came first place with this deck at the AGC D Standard Remote Fight Tournament. Now, he also the next day came third place with Leonard's is Nuts 2.0. And there's some interesting evolutions of the deck with this deck as we see that more of the 20k order, which is cool. He's also cut down on Eden, so he's definitely got something. Right? There's definitely the workings going on there. There's a shout out to the Frinsmith for constantly bringing up ideas and discussing how to solve the deck. Really appreciate the past 2 days of deck building and debating. Gonna fix it to be better from here. Yeah, so also out of 4 games I went first only on round 4. It's really 90% luck and 10% skill. But yeah, no, I think it's pretty interesting. So they cutted some Edens for more 20k order. So yeah, it's maybe we're onto something here. Right, good job. And then so now we're moving on to Baromagnes. We have a few Baromagnes this week as well. Baromagnes got some okay stuff, I think. Basically, if you have the old deck though, you're pretty set. Just put in some Crimson Expeller. But here we can see this Baromagnes deck is only running 1 Crimson Expeller, so 1 new card. It's also running 4 overall Baromagnes, because there's like a kind of a shift where you can run less Baromagnes to be able to get to 15 soul quick up. And with all the new cards that Baromagnes has got, you can kind of more stably get there. But it looks like with this, he's running 4 Baromagnes. He's also cut out the crawling, and he's running the abnormality extraction instead, which is a CB. It's like a CB1 Soul Charge 3, and you can grab a card from your soul into hand. Oh, but you have to discard a card as well. So, and you have to have 10 or more soul. So it kind of, instead of adding more power like crawling does, this soul charge is a bit more and is able to grab you things like null. So maybe you can play the long game a bit better, and you can sit on like the 10k, the 10 soul base instead to play that game before jumping onto 15 soul, which might be good. He's also running like a freeze breeze, which is draw power. So interesting build of Baromagnes. Interesting build. The next one here is we have a 4 Baromagnes build again. He's running 4 Crimson Expeller now. And this one's like, in case you guys don't know, it's just I think it's on hits. No, is it on hits? Or is it on attack? I think it's like on a Vanguard attack, you can Soul Charge 1, which lets you be aggressive early on. And that's really good for Baromagnes, right? Because the quicker you're hitting them early, the earlier you're rushing, the more you can your multi-attacks will kill the opponent. So yeah, when it attacks a Vanguard, you Soul Charge 1 there. That's right. So it's pretty good. He's only running what, two of the 18k do now. So that's interesting. And then again, the abnormality extraction and 4 Brothers Soul. Yeah. Similar to the build before, but with more money here. I don't think they cost that much though. Another Baromagnes. This guy's running Time Jurati Dragon, which is it's a put a card to soul and draw a card, so you can kind of recycle your cards that don't soul charge. But overall, yeah, I think this is pretty much your old Barrow build, except you're running 4 Barrows. With 4 Crimson Expellers here. So, easy upgrade path. And here is another one that is the same, I guess. But, Time Jurati, Abnormality Extraction. I think it's got the Brother's Soul, I think, right? No Brother's Soul. But, got the Gungaram. But same idea. Just try to push up early. But no Crimson Expeller, it seems. Wow. Okay, nice. Next is another deck, 4 Crimsons, 3 Brothers Soul, because 1 TD has 3, and then 2 Abnormality Extraction. Yeah, this is just it's a pretty straightforward deck. The rest is good stuff that soul charges. Here, same thing, pretty much. Soul charge. Look, it's kind of weird that players are kind of iffy on the Crimson Expeller. It doesn't even require, it just requires you to attack Vanguard. It doesn't really require you to, counterblast or anything like that. So interesting. He's valuing the Time Girardi Dragon. Like, he's got like 4 of them in this one, which is pretty crazy. And the last Baromagnes list here is we've got 4 of the Crimson Expeller, 4 Brother Soul, 4 Abnormality, and yeah, I mean, he's only running 2 Electro Spartan, 1 in the Rye deck, so yeah, okay, that's cool, Moving on. So moving on to Bastion. This usually, like, Bastion shouldn't have to undergo that many changes. You've got the new order. It's like the form up order. But this person decided to run Refrezos. Is that his name? Refrezos. It's a really weird name. And Prideful Dragon. Both of them are pretty average in this format, I think, because of Leonard, you don't want to be committing a lot of boosters, and that's what they require. Prideful requires 4 grade 3 regards. Refrezos is a booster himself, so overall, I don't think it's that great. They've cut down on Facade. I've seen some people play like super ham builds where they totally cut out the facades and they run like multiples of a lot of Refrezos, a lot of the order. This guy's played a bit of everything, which I don't really think is that great, but locals, what can you do? So yeah, cool. Next we have is just a pretty standard build and literally no changes. It's just a Bastion deck that you can play now, right? Pretty good. The next build here we have, it looks like people are testing a few cards. Just put in 1 Prideful Dragon, but I think that is 1 Prideful Dragon too much. It's I personally think it's quite overrated. We've got 3 form-up Chosen Knights, which is kind of expected. And the rest of the deck is just your also. Like, you can just change a Prideful to a Fasado, bam, deck's done. Pretty much same as before. So yeah, pretty good. Next one is it's got new cards. And again, it's running 3 of the Swinging Sword order. One interesting to note, right, is Painkiller Angels now are kind of useful because you can commit them early to attack, you can move them back to boost, but then they go away. So against like the Leonard matchup as well, it's kind of dodges that. And at the same time, although it adds inconsistency to the deck, because you're able to get triple drives with this new order, you can kind of afford the inconsistencies because you're kind of bound to like check well, you're not always bound to check a grade 3, but you'll get, if you trigger this, you're not like suddenly relying you to be like, my next check has to be a 3, because you have like two grade 3 checks coming up, 2 more checks coming up, and at least if one of them's a grade 3, then you're fine. If they're both triggers, then you're burned, but at least you got 2 triggers, right? So yeah, so I think Painkiller is like not a bad tech in this current metagame, but Swinging Sword, I feel like you can kind of, I know players like the kind of control aspect of this deck, but sometimes I feel like currently you have to go faster. You have to go faster to like beat your opponent quicker, and maybe I think Swinging Sword is a bit too slow. But you can definitely replace the Prideful Dragons. And very low value, that card in my opinion. But yeah, good job, locals. Here we have another player still running Solaria. So this was on he's running 4 of the order as well, and I actually don't think Solaria is that bad, right? It's a grade 3 and it doesn't brick you, so it's already winning, right? It's a 1 counter charge and 1 soul blast, and that's just refunded with Fasado, so it's just perfect. He's running 4 Dark Strain, which is it's okay, but overall this entire lineup is quite solid. And it's just, lots of draws, get resources, get power, bam, win the game like that. And you've cut it off the draws for fronts, because 20k fronts, well, he's running 1 draw. No. Yeah, he's running 1 draw. Just turn into a critical front, man. Yeah. But apart from this weirdo, I think this deck is solid. it's solid. And I think Kelvin would agree, right?
Solid 5 out of 7.
That's right, solid 5 out of 7. Well, maybe not this one, because he's got a draw trigger. But moving on, next Bastion. Is this one a solid? No. He's got Pridefuls, downvote, instant dislike. Sorry, man. Next. I mean, if you want to run Pridefuls, go for it. This one is a solid. I think this one's a solid, you know. 4 orders, 3 Cookabeel, which is fine. 3 fronts, and yeah. Draw, boost, boost. Win the game. Alright, cool. Next one, solid. I can't see this card. No, that's form up. It's form up. This, okay, Cometh, not bad. I still think if you want to run Cometh, you can, as long as you got the Fasados to support it. Right? Good job. Bastion, easy deck. Next, just don't fall for the trap of running a Prideful Dragon. If you run a Prideful Dragon, take it out, put any other card in. I would rather that you run like Refrezios in as well. But I personally don't think he's that amazing too. But you know, I think I'd rather put another Cookabeel in because it's like a 10k shield. Because unless you're committing everything down first, which I think is wrong by the way. But if you do, then it's bigger. So there's still more value there. But yeah, overall a solid build, I think. Next we have 4 Pridefuls. Just throw it in the bin. No, okay. So I think this one's kind of like a super YOLO build. You know, you got 4 of this dude, 4 of Refrezos, 4 Pridefuls. So you're aiming to just build a full field and push. And he's running like 2 of the 20k order shields for Bastion, which is interesting. But yeah, this one's another take on Bastion where you just go ham and hope for the best and hope you never fight a Bastion deck. I mean, another you hope you don't fight a Lena deck or a Bastion deck that runs Swinging Sword, right? So nice take, I guess. Cool. Next we have here is another deck that's running, you know, 20k orders, which is cool. He's got 2 Pridefuls, which is like, I think it's a downvote already in my books. But you know, the rest of the deck is solid. So nice Bastion list. And then the last Bastion list here we have is a true Prideful Dragon list. You know, 4 Refrezos. So I think it's entering the YOLO range. And yeah, nice. I think this is the defensive one that like grabs a grade 3 from the damage zone. So that's cool. But you know, 20k of shields. You know, 20k shields are, again, 20k shielding is nice. 20k orders are nice. So I'm not surprised people are like throwing one in just for the extra defensive. But this guy's running like 4 draw, 4 front, only 2 crit, eh? I don't know. I think crits are better. Moving on to Hexaorb. There is 1 Hexaorb this week, and this one's got a strange right chain. That is not the one I'm expecting. So you know, you get the Blast Javelin, Blast the Dark. You can get the free cards, you get the free drive check, or you can just not get the free drive check and just get a free card. Like, keep that card alive. But the rest of the deck is, I think, I don't know. It's weird. He's only running two of the Pentagleam. And I think Pentagleam's so good, right? Because you want to run 4 Pentagleams because it's a free top deck check, you know? It's a free top deck check. Why would you not? Right? Rest of the deck, how do I say, you know, this is expected. Rest of these are expected. I think this is like a retire itself. When you trigger a trigger, you retire itself and you like CC, is it? Yeah, if you're Hexaorb, you retire it and can countercharge and soul charge. But I guess it creates empty slots, so it might not be that bad. And then yeah, the Fasado and all that. So, interesting take on Hexaorb. And then again, there is a new kill on the block as well. We've got Blasters, right? Got Blasters. Blasters, I don't really like Blasters. They kind of don't do much. But I think there's an interesting take here which I do like, is he's running the Momo. Well, not the Momo. He's running the Pentagleam. I don't know why I keep on calling it Momo. No, he's running the Pentagleam to do the top deck check because it's literally free. It's free. Just try and scry for a trigger to put on that pressure and you're fine. The rest of your encounter cards, the only thing he's not running 4 of is the Blaster Javelin, which I kind of disagree. I think Blaster Javelin is really good. It's just like a 10k dude. all the time. So you can be aggressive, you can boost and hit numbers. So I don't know, like cutting him to like 3, it seems not great. He's running a lot of cards that I don't really agree with. He's running the blaster support here, but it's like CB1 Soul Blast 1 to give like 5k power to all blasters when it's retired by a cost or effect. So I don't know, I don't like that, but otherwise no, I do like the Momo. I do like the, why am I calling it Momo again? I do like the Pentagleam. I do like the Pentagleam. Next we have is Stagmont Locals Physical Tournament, and this is from McCrafter 3000. So they've got a PvD deck, and yeah, it looks pretty good. It looks got all the encounter cards. He is running the blaster support as well. I think this is the Capult. It is able to just generate an extra card on the field or add a grade 3 to your hand. You reveal the top deck and call it, or add it to hand if it's a grade 3. But the rest of the deck's just pretty solid. So yeah, with these encounter decks, I think just a lot of players just running for every encounter card, and good times. Here is another build. This one's interesting. He's running kind of this angel, which is if you have no face-up cards in the damage zone, it gets 5k. So it's basically a 50k beater. The rest of the deck is just there. And then here's another build. This one's actually really kind of insane because he's running a lot of grade 3s, and he's not running Maha, it seems, because Maha can only search for grade 1 or lower, which is fine. You've got the Alden, you've got the Facade, you've got the Alfid, and then hey, triple drive. At this point, why don't you just run Bastion? That's the real question, right? Just run Bastion. But no, it's interesting at least. And then lastly, we got just another build here, which is running the Capult as extras and the blast support there. So pretty good. Moving on, we have Magnolia. So again, a lot of new cards here. Elephant Man, Dama Inaru. Yeah, I was taught the tech by Say on how to say the name. Amazing card that puts on a lot of pressure. But it looks like, players here have opted to play Wild Intelligence. Well, if you're running Zorgnolia, you do have to run, a bunch of orders. So Wild Intelligence is a new order that's just really good. And then he's running the Spiritual Body Condensation. That kind of helps the early game to push. It does require soul though, but thanks to the new Elephant Man, you can kind of generate soul that way. So overall, I think this is a pretty nice build. He's running a lot of the grade 2 that gets power when you have an order. So I guess you can like call it out early and then just put on pressure like that. It's pretty nice. Next we have is a pure build, looks like, of Magnolia. And again, I think I've said it before, but the pure builds are pretty good because you just have a lot of value for your cards now. And we've got the Coochies, we've got the moving team, right? And there are 3 elephants. But yeah, no, it's I think that the pure build is actually quite good now. And then with the Wild Intelligence, you can just generate a bunch of cards for free. So nice. He's running old Gunasera, which is cool because you can kind of fish out the Gunasera now with the Wild Intelligence too. So yeah, or Gucci man, or Coochie. Next we have is another pure build here, and 4 Wild Intelligence. Like the Wild Intelligence, I think everyone's just been on it. It's just really nice. And then you've kind of forced on the elephant. The rest of the deck is just kind of however you want to craft it. Mantis is still amazing. I've basically been seeing Mantis a lot, so pretty good. All right, moving on, we've got Zorga. Now I know a lot of people have been trying to figure out the lineup for Zorga. What is the order lineup? Because there's just so many options right now, and I mean we can look at it, right? So this person's opted to run the order reclamation card. And then he's got 3 Spiritual Body Condensations, 2 Ghost Chase. It looks like, I think that's 2 Agonies and 2 Regurgitations, and then 3 Nectars. Alright, the power. So that's quite a lot. That is quite a lot. And a large variety too. A large variety. In terms of what he's running for, I can't really tell what that grade 2 is. I think, is it Husk? Is it the one that we run here? Oh no, that's Zorga, I think. Sorry, that's Zorga. He's running Hendrina, two Sharks, and then 4 of the the new pirate zombie, dread zombie or something like that. The one that decreases alchemagic counterblast. So it's pretty nice. The next Zorga list we're here. We've got four. Did he run Griefs? The previous guy run any Griefs? I don't think he did. Okay, so yeah, moving on. The next guy's running 4 Grief and Destruction, Despair. Not is it Destruction? No, 4 Grief and Despair, 4 Spiritual Body Condensations, 2 Ghost Chase, and 2 Regurgitations. So it's a very, just like, you know, very, how do you call it? Like straightforward lineup. And then 4 Hendrinas and 2 Sharks. Like the Sharks have been really just looks like people are liking the Sharks quite a lot. And then one of this, I think this card just sends all the bind orders into your drop zone, so you can kind of use them again. You know, but it's like kind of like a toolbox. You just have to just play one. Just play one. So pretty good. Another totally different idea with the order lineup though, compared to the first one. Third player, he is running 3 Ghost Chase, 4 Grief and Despair. So it looks like no one's cutting Grief and Despair. 3 Regurgitation, and 3 of the Spiritual Body Condensation. So, I mean, when you're going for Grief and Despair, you just want to, you know, normalize, balance out the powers of each column, rather than, you know, make 2 columns fat with crit. 2 Sharks. So the 2 Sharks again, we're seeing this quite a lot, but again, this is more similar to the one we saw previously rather than the first one. And the last Zorga list we're looking at is this one. It's got 3 Regurgitation. I think this is Grief Despair, 2 Ghost Chase. So I think people were talking about cutting Ghost Chase, but I think Ghost Chase just offers really, really good utility. So people are still opting to keep it in. And then 2 Spiritual Body Condensation, 2 Nectars. So it looks like he just wants, this is like massive powers. Massive powers. So pretty nice. 4 of the 2 Shark, 4 of the dude, the grade 1 zombie dude. And then 4 Hendrinas. So that kind of, everything apart from the orders are pretty much finalized, right? Now there is kind of like another list, but this one is kind of a strange one. This is the meme 18k list. Okay, so he's running the new card that has an 18k power line, and he can't attack unless you call something that is not a normal call. So you have to superior call something. So well, luckily we have a lot of orders that superior call nowadays. We've got, you know, Wild Intelligence, we've got Spiritual Body Condensation, running 1 Regurgitation though. So yeah, it's quite a lot. But he's also running I think it's a Dread Shooter. It's just, I think you bind an order and then you Soul Blast and it comes out, and it kind of satisfies this condition too. So overall, I think it works very kind of interestingly, right? It's definitely not a deck that we've seen before. It's really weird. It's really weird. Let me know what you guys think of this deck. I mean, when people saw this card, they were like, "Oh yeah, this is gonna be great in premium." But this person went, you know, premium. Who plays premium in Japan? I'm gonna play it in standard, and here we are. We've got a standard deck of the 18k guy. So good job. Only at locals, right? Only at locals does that work. So next one we have is Prison. So Prison got a lot of buffs, and nowadays it's actually quite competitive in my opinion. But the core is still there. So we've got, you know, 4 Bug Motor is kind of core now, or just at least 3. But you know, 4, everyone's got 4 because you really want to see it early. So this is pretty much core. This part is all core. Defense, but yeah, in Japan, defense, offense. That's the entire deck. Next Prison one is basically nothing like I've said. He's running some extra control, which I kind of don't think you need, but you know, Baromagnes, Rouges, Turquoises. Here's the order, Bind for Hand order, but yeah, nice, good job. Next one is he's got 1 Melty Kiss. I really like this card. It shuts down a lot of cards. I think you can take out this dude and just run more of the Melty Kiss to shut down matchups. He's running like 4 Limon, which makes it so he's just good. Like doing this combo, I think is just really, it just works. It just works. He's also running the 2 of the order, and then I think this is the one that executes cards in the order zone. So if you prison something on your opponent's side of the field that you don't really like, you can play this down and you can kill it. Just send it to the drop zone so they can never get it back, right? The travesty. But apart from that, you know, Rouges is surprisingly good now because you always reach the condition. They're always 15k shield. So 15k shield. They have the buff attack power as well. So overall, I think, yeah, the deck is just really nice. Really nice. This is the last prison deck as well for today. Well, in the Japan side, 4 bug murders, the aggressive options here. So this is pretty similar to another list we saw recently, and I think this is kind of the build that a lot of people are on at the moment for prison. You know, you just got, it's just by itself without the melty kisses. Even though I like it, it has already a pretty solid defensive line, and you just need to somehow find a way to kill your opponent, which is just this order. So you just play it every turn and get rid of something from their hand every turn, and make them feel bad, right? So nice. Moving on, we have Orfist. Now, I think Orfist is one of the biggest comebacks of the century. So they did well in BSFO, and you know, wow, best 3 attacker deck now got even more support. Now, Japan plays some very interesting cards though. They're running this Istale, which is during both, I think it's both players have to retire a card at your opponent's during the end phase, if I'm correct. And it adds decent complexity to the deck. So yeah, during both plays, either player's end phase, you have to both players choose a card on their field and retire. So ideally, you have cards that are freer than theirs, and you retire it, and they have to retire good cards. But no, I've seen this card run quite a bit, which is pretty insane. In terms of what is run in the world orders, this guy's actually just running a lot. He's running 8 orders all up, only 2 corrosive Moonlight, which I think is pretty important. This card is really good. Just when you have it at grade 2, pop it down, bam, field, bash, win the game. So I feel like you should be running more of this, and you should run more of this and less of this, because you already have retires from your Stales and your Aldavids. So yeah, pretty good. Orfist is actually quite strong nowadays. Next Orfist list we see here is we've seen this in the previous build as well, but this is like a world search kind of dig and grab world cards. He's still running the lightning barrier, and I mean, I think that's fine. Lightning barrier is still good. He's running low order counts though, or low world counts, which is kind of iffy in my opinion. Of course, you do only need to mulligan 1 to your hand because you can grab the others from the ride line. But I don't know, 5 is stretching it, right? And I guess he's relying on this to be able to kind of dig in if he doesn't get it. But I don't know. Think it might work. At least give some extra space to run cards that can beat down on the opponent. Next we have is pretty standard Orfist, but he's running 3 Estales. Isterates. I'm saying it wrong. I'm saying Estale. But yeah, this is 3 of them seems, I don't know. I kind of want to test it just to see how it works out, and you know, maybe both sides feel this is going to be really bad. But you know, since you have the shadow tokens and the Orfist, you can always generate cards, and your opponent just has to keep on committing cards from the hands. That's how you mentioned grind it out and win. So I think it's an interesting path to take. Here we see, you know, the order digger, but he's still running it like 6 orders, which is like I think the minimum that I'd go to not feel bad. But apart from that, the rest of it is quite straightforward, and yeah, good list. Next we can see a 3 is straight list again. This person's running no retire order, which I think is fine. It's actually fine. He's maxed out like 4 of each, and at least this puts on like pressure really early on and can kind of just, it's good, right? You're a 3 attacker deck, you want to put on the pressure early in order to win. So I think this is a very strong deck. And then last prison deck here, we have similar to before, you know, like 3 corroding moonlights and then 1 of the water. And I can kind of see that, you know, just run 1. But from that, he's not running any Easter eggs. But you know, as long as you're running the new cards, you're on the right track. Like 4 Elderverds, bam, your deck is already that good. So pretty much good job. Yeah, that is all the president. We've got like 1 token Rambu, and this is the TD token Rambu. So kind of check top decks, and that's it. So pretty good. That is all of Japan standard. That took forever. That actually took forever. I don't know how I'm still talking. But moving on to English standard. So here we've got Dixander. He's, you know, showing us the pie chart. Lots of Bastions for Festival Collection. Lots of Virenias, but I think this is because Japan really likes Virenias, right? Virenia's really doing well there. Again, like I'm saying, preset 2 Virenias, I don't feel like they deliver enough, man. I don't feel like they deliver enough. But of course, you know, I'm a Bastion player, so... I'm a Bastion player. Moving on to English results. These are basically all VG top decks, by the way. We have Armin Enthusiast. He won his local on the 26th and placed first with a Virena. So, good job. Showing me that Virena can do stuff. Got the Myron's there. Myron's new card. So, congrats. Kelvin can say something too.
Pretty good.
That's right. Pretty good. Moving on, we have is Maverick Martel. Another week, another local tournament at Budapest again. You know, they got 14 plays this time, which is great. The first place was Nirvana, so good job. I mean, there's actually spoilers. There's actually quite a lot of Nirvanas. There's a decent amount of Nirvanas in English. Right. Second place was Baromagnes, and yeah, Baromagnes we've seen a lot of. And then third place is a Orfist that my Twitter has not loaded. There we go. We got it finally. It's good. So pretty standard Orfist, I think. So pretty nice.
Pretty good.
That's right. Here, Virena again. The 3 defensive. I think this is kind of like. Oh, is that a Pecora? Pecora card? Nice. Pecora sleeves. Good job. That deserves something better than a pretty good, I think. It's a solid
5 out of 7.
That's right. You did well, son. You did well. But yeah, Jeremy got first at locals using Nirvana. You win right, come first, and come first to the right sleeves. So well deserved. Okay, next list we have is from Seiso. He topped locals with Nirvana. 4-0, solid, easy deck to play. Looking forward to set 2. So, good job. Sideways Nirvana, but I think we kind of know how Nirvana decks look like, right? So, good job.
Pretty good.
And then lastly, we've got Chris, Games Tower Luxembourg, and first was Zico playing Nirvana. Second was Baku CP playing Orfist, and then third was Chris. Mr. Different Fight playing Nirvana with an identical list as first place Zico. And fourth was John Pierce playing Zorga. Alright, that's pretty cool. And again, we see these 3 defensive orders. So I think this is pretty much the correct deck. The correct build, at least. So
pretty good.
That's right. Now, English. We also have Chopin Dylan. Yesterday was the first card fight Vanguard locals at Outpost Antwerp in years. We played and I got second. The only reason was because for the memes, I said, if my Eugene arrives, I'll play it, and I got second. Top 3 was Delarue with Bastion, me with Eugene, and there was the Zorga. So pretty good. We've got Eugene, you know, showing up and representing. This is the the English favorite kind of deck. So that deserves.
There is Eugene.
That's
Mad
right.
lad.
That's right. But there is not only just one Eugene, there is 2 Eugenes. So this is Core. Alright, Core finished second with Eugene, 3-1. 1 card too low in deck for first, otherwise would have beaten Bruce of the Night. 2 Eugene bursts equals deck out.
There is Eugene. Mad lad.
That's right. there is Eugene. There were 2 Eugenes. So good job, Core. VG top decks question mark? VG top decks anytime, mate. Anytime, bruh. So good job. Nice list as well. Moving on, we've got Bruce. So we've got Scobie. I've been playing Bruce a lot at local tournaments the last few weeks and winning whenever I've done, and so finally decided to share. So Bruce list, let's look at this. This was a festival collection, so pretty good. Got the Jareds, and yeah, no, this is a pretty good list. The only thing is that I think it's the
Wrong over trigger.
That's right. I think this should be the Cray Elemental one, but apart from that, the list is solid. It's solid, so good job. Next we have is Ramiro Juarez playing Clash of Nations Keta theme? But this doesn't look very Keta. This looks it's very, very dark states. So first was him. He came first with Bruce, and again, I think this is a pretty solid deck. It's got the right over trigger. Got the grade 2 lineup is solid. No Brody is kind of fine when you have Jared. You can kind of be more aggressive and just got the one-off Colossus. So good stuff. Second place was Miguel of Bastion. So here's the Keta theme. Yeah, deck's good. I think very, very solid list already, right? And then third was Sean, Winning Image. Okay, Neil's playing Bastion too. So there was a Keta theme. Everyone played. They lost to Bruce. Yeah, good stuff. 2 Solara, 2 defensive orders. A bit different, but running more defensive cards is okay in my opinion. So good job, Sean. Okay, so we have 1 Baromagnes that topped EN this week for VG top decks. And there's David Ma at the training ground, June 19th locals results, so a bit back. First was Bradley Schroeder with Baromagnes, so this list. Second was James McKinley with Zorga, and third was Kevin Quedro with Prison Gate. So nice Baromagnes list. It's running. Is it a 10er list? Right, it's got quite a few defensive orders here, which can kind of indicate that, so you can play more defensive options. Yeah, pretty good list. Second is the Zorga build, and this is pretty standard. Oh, he's running some more grade 3s, but the grade 3 and the grade 2 can kind of be interchanged. But I think the key, he's got the idea. A linear to push early, because you're a 3 attacker deck. I think he can run fronts, right? But he's decided to opt for heavy draws. So I guess that's cool. I guess if you want to run, I've seen people run either like full on aggro like crits and fronts, or run some extra draws in this deck, so maybe like kind of push a bit earlier. So it's nice. And then third place we got Prison. So he's somehow making Prison work, but no Lamones. Oh yeah, no, Lamone wasn't released at the time, but he was somehow able to. Yeah, I think it's actually got a decent matchup against something like a Zorga, but against a Baromagnes, you're gonna feel really, really bad. But again, got the old guy doing work. So good job.
Pretty good.
And then next we have Bastion. So I'm expecting Bastion, right? Because it's English. But we've got Marcel Crow. I think I forgot this list last week, so we have to put in the English list now. But Team Killer Shop remote tourney got top 4, and he lost to the same Bastion, and he had 4 perfect guards in hand on his kill turn. And then checked over trigger, so unlucky, right? Unlucky. That's what happens when you I don't know. Maybe you offended someone. But pretty good, all standard, pretty standard Bastion build. So good job. Next we have is Zerko, first place at 11 man locals with TD Bastion plus extras. Alright, so again, right? Got a TD, you can still win. And his prize packs got him a second Alden, so he's nearly on his way to maxing out the deck. So this could be you guys. Start Vanguard, play Bastion, win games. Win games. Next, we have Ezel Senpai. This is not his deck, but he had this is the winner Mika's deck, I guess. He was playing Bastion, and yeah, Bastion pretty figured out. He decides to play Lepisto though to get the extra attack. I think Lepisto is like people playing it in the Bastion mirror, so you get an extra attack and kind of like push more damage that way. But nice, good job, good job.
Pretty good.
Alright, so here we have another Bastion list from Reticular VTuber. This is the Discord community tournament on the 25th of June. And first was Overroy with Bastion. Second was Amatsuki with Bruce. Third was Makasen with Magnolia. And fourth was Akizuki Pascal with Baromagnes. Thanks, Yayang Uda join Buat Ramyan. Okay, yeah. Good job. So nice Bastion list here. Slight defensive orders there. Second, we've got the Bruce. Third, we have the Magnolia, and running some of the PRs, which is cool. He's running the pure line, and then fourth, we've got Baromagnes. All right, Baromagnes. So yeah, pretty good, pretty good. Well.
Pretty good.
That's right, pretty good. Hexaorb, Marcelo Lehman, Bees Card Shop Tournament result on the 27th. Did you come first? No. This is just for... Linane came first with Hexaorb. Second was Nando with Orfist. Third was Cello with Baromagnes. And fourth was Nicho with Virina. Picture's a bit small, but yeah, this is an aggro list. I think there's like this is the 10k booster. Yeah. So good job on Hexaorb coming first. This is a bigger picture now. So Orfist, there's a weird hand here to like John Cena hand. Apart from that, it's is this a Japanese list? Huh. Maybe this should be in the Japanese section. Yeah, we got the Aldeverd there, the Order Searcher Corrosion. And then third we have this is new. This should be in Japan. Unfortunate. But yeah, Anomaly Extractor. Only one though. Only one. He's still got two crawlings, and then the two orders. What's Astaroth doing there? And then fourth place we got Nicho with Virina. This is a weird build, is it? No, we've got what's with the Nirvanas with Trivash, man? Like all the Virinas just running Trivashes. Alright, good job, boys.
Pretty good.
That's right. We got Magnolia, David Ma. This is at the training grounds, June 26th. Tournament results, and Alania doing it right. But otherwise, pure Magnolia list, pretty good. He's got the Mantises. He's all ready to go. Right, ready to go. Then we've got Zorga, Card Dweeb. 9-man locals brought Zorga, pair down, lost round 3, so only 3 rounds. And he went 3-0, first place. Good stuff. Zorga. And yeah, 3 Alanias. They like when you look at Stoichia list now, you just go, does it have Alania? Got it.
Pretty good.
That's right. And then lastly we got Orfists. Orfist list. Eon Gamers DSS01 Standard Tournament Week 3 in Mexico. And yeah, I don't think you need any of the new cards for Orfist. It's already got all the cards it needs. So good job.
Pretty good.
And then lastly, we have the Derek Dow at Good Games Morley tournament. Derek came first with Orfist, and we'll run two of the grade 3s. But overall, yeah, pretty standard Orfist. SP nice. Second place was Fraser Dearlove with Bruce, and 4 Brodies. This guy. But where's it? Yeah, 4 Edens. Good. I think the list is fine. You don't even need to run the Jareds at all. So good stuff. Let's look at the Nirvana list. Yeah, well, see, three orders done. List is great. Fourth, we've got Chair Jex with why there's so many ties in fifth place. So there's like 3 fifth place ties. You guys need a better pairing system, dude. Don't use challenge or whatever. You guys only 2 Marjories. Okay, so I've seen the builds running less Marjories just to get more pressure early on. So alright, that's cool. And then 5th place we have a prison deck, which is got Lamones. Only 3 Lamones. Okay, so I guess that's why it's doing well. You know, Lamones getting you, getting you prison cards. So good job, good job. Let's move on to some V. There is some V decks this week. All right, so from I think Japan, we've got a Luard list, right? Ruder build, but overall, well, it's got 2 cool bow, which is like pretty interesting. I don't know. I don't think you need cool bows, man. He's like cut like 1 more Festa, so you're running only 7 grade 2s and 7 grade 3s. You know, those ratios, I'm not a huge fan of. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of cutting those for like cool bows, especially when the cool bows can probably go into something else, right? You can run knees for better consistency. Yeah, so yeah, not a huge fan of this list, but sure, it's it did its job. Next we have is a Chemo, and he's running. He's kind of like weird angel for the list that doesn't want a one-shot, but it's basically this. He came second place, sorry, at Shop League, and it's just the same list that he played last week. So, oh, it's the end of this Shop League, and he came first in overall points. So looks like this Angel Feather list was doing fine. Nice. All right. Next we have is a Japanese list here for Dark Irregulars, and it's kind of, you know, it's not Chaharot, but it's you know, it's NLK with Master of the Fifth Element. You know, it feels kind of old. You know, why would you run that now? But I guess it worked out. I guess you can kind of like hit huge numbers with NLK, and then, you know, if Bermuda's not running like draw nulls, they lose. Next we have is Gear Chronicle, and Gear Chronicle is just, it's kind of the same thing as before. Like it's always done. Nothing has changed. Nothing new for Gear Chronicle. Hopefully he'll Guardians, just make it better. But yeah. Next we've got Marcelo Lehman again. It's B's card shop tournament for V Premium. First place was a DIT with Lupiuna variant scarf. So this is running the Lupiuna with the scarf to get the free cards. That's interesting. Second was Junia with Valkyrian. So why is the first picture always this small? Right, so the first picture is this one. Yeah, so Uni with Valkyrian. Valkyrian, one of those sleeper decks that everyone forgets, but absolutely just pulverized Bermuda for free. Third place was Lanang of Altamal Jewel Knight. Oh, Altamal. I think the thing is, like, Jewel Knights just kind of make every single variant of Royals work, right? Because we give you extra multi-attacks. So, good job. And then fourth place was Nando with Night Rose Beatrice. So yeah, Night Rose Beatrice. I think we've been seeing this. What is the 5? Why is there 5 Night Rose? But yeah, you know, Night Rose Beatrice, it's a good deck. It's a good deck that's been, you know, doing work ever since it got the Beatrice support. It's a good job. Now, lastly for V Premium, there's not that many V Premium lists this week. We have Beckham again with the Vision V Premium in-house double limb tournament. He came second with Highlander.deck, and yeah, it's just the same list. You guys, I mean, I guess you guys stopped him, right? He's not first, he's second. But yeah, what does Kelvin have to say about this?
I suspected Highlander to top.
He knew this was gonna happen. So yeah, good job, Beckham. Every week he's just either showing off his deck or his mat or both, right? I guess he likes both of his things. Okay, so moving on to Premium, we have this list from Diotra in Shop 20. The 6th place of Angel Stall until Node tomorrow. Pretty interesting. He's running the Metatron Superior Ride, it looks like. Yeah. And then what do? You just sit there and heal down? We've got a bunch of 15k shields as well. Yeah. I guess it works. Yeah, heals, you know, you've got the over trigger to combo with Ultima, right? Is there an Ultima here? Is that a win con? I don't actually see the Ultima, so I guess you don't. So I guess you just like damage check. Well, no, these are all. This is the heal 2 as well, right? So wow. Huh. Do you win through time, or what happens? You can like damage. So I guess you can kind of rescue check like a over trigger in your opponent's turn to end their turn as well. It's really interesting. It's really interesting. Nice. Next we have is the dirty Nubatama deck. All right. Last week of top deck in premium. Figured I'd play a fun deck. Right, a fun deck only for you. Thanks for Tokyo for hosting. I need How Ray to notice me. This is a quick way for maybe Hal to not notice you. Oh no, he replied. Okay, you are strong and wise, and I am proud of you. Very proud of you. Okay, so you got his attention. This is Celestial Zero. So, good job with Nubatama premium. Next we have is the Animal Man at the Ben's Collection shop. Now this is with a custom ban list. So no Nuadio, no Gasteel Divinas, no Fenrir, no Blade Master Valken, no Songster. So first was Decade Hakaisha with Gigano X Gaia. So Tachikaze. Alright. Not even Engerblader. Right? Not even Engerblader. This is just Gaia with stuff. So if you wanna, I guess if you want a balanced list, then here you go. Next we have is the Robo Frenzy Beast Deities. Beast Deities, okay. Nova Grappler lineup here. Multi attacks, I guess. Multi attacks. Just do Nova things in premium, right? Nova things. So good job. Third with I think this is Chow Cheese Bar. I think that's Marcel, right? With Highlander. So look, we need to play that clip again.
I suspected Highlander to top.
That's right. Highlander, third place. And then fourth place was the Animal Man himself with Narukami. Oh, so yeah, there we go. Animal Man of Narukami. Cool. He came fourth place, second tournament after 5 years. Welcome back, mate. Welcome back. And he's got this. I mean, again, it's like Narukami, perfect to get back with. Very standard main deck usually, and then tack on that stride deck. You're good to go. You're good to go. So one of the decks where you just go, I want to play premium. Do you have Narukami standard? Let's go. All right, let's go. So good job. Good job, Animal Man. So spoilers, I actually clicked on the Dark Zone. But yeah, there is a premium Dark Irregulars deck here. We do have the Gasteel Dominus and just Rufus one-shot deck, it seems. And this is from Japan, though. This is from Japan, so I guess they've been looking. So yeah, hopefully, hopefully they look a lot and play more premium, so we can get stuff like this banned. So nice. Next we've got a Aqua Force deck. So this is honestly a pretty standard Aqua Force deck. Is this? No, this is V standard. All right. So we have a V standard Aqua Force deck. I don't know why it's in premium. Misplaced this one, but cool, nice. Next we have is Y-Bar's Parkage Remote VG Premium, playing a Granblue list. Again, we've seen quite a variety of Granblue premium lists, and this is kind of a more traditional list of Night Roos, running a lot of standing cards and Zarzan. So good job. I hurried to build the deck, didn't know my ratios before the tournament. I'd cut one Night Rose and one Negrobone for one Beatrice and one Shade. Okay, alright, that's nice, that's cool. Alright, so good job, first place. Next we've got Marcel, Ben's Collection Fun Premium Tournament. Oh yeah, so this is with the community ban, so I think we've seen this one. So good on you, Highlander. Kuru Neko on AGC Premium. First place, Bermuda Triangle Potpourri. Now, this is with the Potpourri combo, which if you don't know, is just kind of a, if you don't get a damage trigger, you will just keep on attacking and you lose the game. Now, it's not as consistent as the other loops, but it's pretty fun, I guess. And I think it's sort of like if you trigger the over trigger and put on the Potpourris, they can. I think the Potpourris go to hand, right? So I guess that doesn't work. It just really depends on the force markers. But you can make, with Fina's effect, you can make these hit even when it doesn't hit. So these like on hit bounce, I think. So yeah, with the Fina, this will always hit and then bounce and then call. And then the combo continues. But if you get a damage trigger, of course, they can always hit, but not take any damage. So you have to pray for no damage checks. But yeah, good job. You finally did it. You did first place with Potpourri. Let me know how good the deck is, so we can ban it. You can ban it. Here's a Kelvin.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. It's a pretty good. All right. A second with Beast 80. What's a Beast 80s? Nice. I mean, I think I've seen this right? Robo Frenzy, the Beast 80. I think it's just the same people. I swear I'm seeing the same people, except they're like different placements. The different placements. The Beast 80s with the prison as well. I just noticed the prison card. And I guess the prison just did a soul charge, right? Because this deck uses a lot of soul. Third, we've got Yomo 33 with DP Excalibur Turbo. DP Excalibur Turbo. Is it? So do we have Superior, right? Oh no. Yeah? No? No, I don't think there is. What's the turbo portion of this deck? Let me know where the turbo portion of this deck is. But I see a Dimension Police. I guess the Tempest Sphere is kind of turbo. But you can flip things up, get a lot of crits and one-shot opponent. And then fourth one is got Decade Hakaisha with that Gigano Gaia. So I think this is the same list as we saw previously. You know, because we saw one of these lists. Was this with a custom ban list? Or did you guys just gentleman's agreement to not play anything crazy bad? Let me know, guys. And then we've got Arton placed first at Nirvana's BSF Premium shortly with a 3-0. Riviere, my absolute fave. It's one of those two-player Yu-Gi-Oh bats, right? Yeah, Riviere. I think a lot of people forgot about Riviere because there is way more broken decks now in Premium. But seeing Riviere pop up is pretty good, or maybe not that good because. I mean, a lot of people don't like Bermuda Triangle, but yeah, it's come back. Stuff's Twa's getting reprinted, right? Yeah, so you can build this deck later on. And then lastly, we have Stargate. We wrapped up our shop league season, so time to press first hit on VG top decks. Had a near perfect sweep of the season, only losing the last week to Chaos because over-trigger both games. Ooh, more or less the same list from BSFO, hoping for a ban list to save the format. Yes, we do need a ban list to save that format, but yeah, Nova Grapplers, doing it, Nova Grappler things in Premium. Yeah, good job, Iblis. So now we move on to the last portion of our VG top decks, and that is the Discord result. Alright, so here we've got Kura's Caverns locals. First we've got Eric with Bastion. So yeah, I think this is English Bastion, so a bit of a mid-range of like the two swinging swords, pretty good. Second place we've got Peter with Nirvana. Yeah, Nirvana again, one Tribash, interesting. And then third we've got Chris with a Bruce deck. So overall, pretty standard Bruce deck, I think. Good job everyone. You can have a
pretty good
double pretty good right there from Kelvin. And then we've got next we have is an Orfist deck. So this is from Wiley, second place at Golden Phoenix Games Saturday at locals. So I think this is taken before he edited the list. but he's pretty good. Pretty good. Here's another
Pretty good.
And then, well, actually, no, there's a comment. So it's gonna drop Dumbler in favor of something else. So switching fronts back to draw triggers, they don't accomplish much through the whole day. Alright, nice. I wasn't able to get first plays. It was Bruce, I thought, after the fact to post. Not bad, considering I'm recovering from appendectomy after nearly having an appendix explode. Wow. Get better, man. Is it appendicitis? Or is... Wow. Yeah. Good job. Good job on coming second, bruh. You know, but make sure to stay healthy so you can keep on playing and keep on winning, right? And then lastly, we have Scarecrow Kaiser came first tournament in a while, first place with Bruce. So good job. All right, heavy, looks like heavy grade 3 count. Only one Eden, man. It's the Spartan build as well. So I'm alright. So good job. All right, that was all the lists this week. This was really long, surprisingly. And I don't know why it took so long. Wow. Yeah, it took ages. I don't have Kelvin next to me hounding me to hurry up. So maybe we need that. But you know, there's a crazy amount of lists, a lot of new text, and very interesting to see. Remember, guys, you can submit your lists on Twitter with the hashtag VGTopDecks. And if you don't have that Twitter, you can submit it on our Discord channel. In the link below, there is a channel called VG Top Deck Submissions. You can post there and you'll get featured at the end. So thanks for watching, thanks for the decks, and I guess I'll let Kelvin close this one out because he didn't get much to say. So take it away, Kelvin.
Lock was a mistake.
That's right.